You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back. Today, I am broadcasting. No, I'm not. I'm podcasting. Broadcasting different to podcasting?
Yes, it is. Yeah, broadcasting is like you cast broadly, and then when you're podcasting, you cast into someone's pods.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So I'm podcasting today from DY, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia.
Do you think people really want to know that?
Yes, they do want to know that.
Okay.
It's very interesting for
it's
them
all right.
to know where I am, that I'm in DY.
You spend many seconds every episode talking about being in DY.
I know, but people...
Talking about the nasty weather.
And today it's windy, but we're heading into our beautiful summer.
Come on, summer.
Yeah. Come on, summer. Come on, you can do it, summer. Hello to everybody. We have listeners in Jamaica, in Ukraine. I'm sorry about that, and we do think about you often. Japan, and many in the United States, and Canada and New Zealand. So hello from Australia.
And for those that Annie didn't mention,
sorry,
it's because she has a bad memory. It's not that she thinks that your nation is unimportant.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. And if anybody on this podcast has ever gone and spent their time looking for a place to buy, then you are going to really appreciate the cognitive biases that David and I have come across.
This is the special real estate episode.
Real estate episode. So David and I have been assisting our son in looking for a new apartment to buy. And what this has meant is that on Saturdays we get in the car and we drive thousands of kilometres in the heat and the terrible weather to assist him in this process. It's not true. We don't drive thousands of kilometres, though. Hundreds. Well, it's a good hour from the northern beaches in Sydney to the more western suburbs of Sydney, but that's what we've been doing, and we have been caught in terrible traffic along the way, Saturday traffic, but such is the devotion of us as parents.
Oh yeah, we're so devoted.
We're very devoted, aren't we?
Yeah, so devoted. We kicked him out.
Yeah, we kicked him out, and now he has to buy something to live in. So we've been going out and helping him in looking at these properties.
That's right. Choosing between the houses of straw, the houses of sticks, and the houses of stone.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just the earliest.
I didn't ask you to introduce some sort of metaphor.
Well, the earliest introduction that any of us had to real estate, I think, was the story of the three little pigs.
You tell that while I go and put my hair back. Go on.
What?
Yeah, tell the story.
No, I mentioned the three.
Tell the story.
Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs.
Not everybody comes from a Western culture that's sort of. Go on, tell them.
Look, I'm doing this under sufferance. Yes, Annie's just left the room to fix her hair. I don't know why that's important. This is an audio podcast. But the first little pig built his house out of straw because he thought it would be easy, but it didn't stand up to the wind, or the blowing of a wolf. Neither did the house of sticks, which was the house of the second pig. That was also blown over. I don't know why I'm telling you this story. The third house was made out of bricks and the wolf couldn't blow it over. And so that was probably a good investment and saved the pigs' lives.
Yes, that's right. Quiet piggy.
But
how was that?
Quiet piggy.
How was that? That was a bad moment.
That was a nice moment of status reinforcement where the president really wanted to put that young
Yeah, that was
journalist in
just
her
delightful.
place.
It's truly delightful. So
One day we'll do an episode on the cognitive biases that you find in media and interviews with politicians. But today we're talking about real estate. And probably there are a few activities that human beings engage in that are more replete with cognitive biases and heuristics and the possibility that you're going to make a bad decision than real estate. And the other good thing about real estate is because the wheels go so slowly, you've got plenty of time to actually examine your thinking.
it's true.
Be it caught in traffic or
Except
waiting
mostly
for the
we
report.
don't examine our thinking.
Okay, cognitive bias number one, urgency.
Well, I just don't. I mean, I get out there and because I don't like it. I don't like being, I want to come home again. So what happens to me is I see something that's sort of vaguely okay. I go, that'll do. That'll do.
What?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I'm like, well, that seems fine. There was 2 on last Saturday
right,
where I go, we'll just get that because I don't want to keep looking.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's one bias is just, post-rationalising. So the feeling I have inside me is I'm sick of this. This is the 7th one I've looked at. Can we just buy one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very poor thinking on my part.
And look, a little bit of context. Last year, but actually it was about this time last year that Annie and I entered the property market for the first time in like about 24 years. We had a lovely.
They know this.
Yeah, I know.
We'll go and tell them quickly.
Well, I was just going to say, we had a lovely, rather unique property up in Beacon Hill on Sydney's northern beaches.
You can't use my speech rhythms trying to sound interesting.
And
They're my speech rhythms.
And so in that event we were the vendor, we were the seller, we were also buying at the same time, and we've been through the process with our son, as Annie was saying. The cognitive biases and heuristics that arise are really sort of top of mind at the moment. And one of them is the halo effect.
Yeah, the halo effect's really interesting.
Because it worked in our favour. It worked very much in our favour.
As vendors.
You explain what the halo effect is and I'll explain how it works for us.
So the halo effect is when something is good, like an element of something, or like if you take a human being, if you really like the human being or find the human being attractive, what can often happen is they then have a halo around their head and that you may infer upon them qualities that they actually don't have. So I may think the best one I can think of is Gwyneth Paltrow, who's a very, very good actor.
Oh, she's a great actor.
She's a fantastic actor. So you might look at her and go, she's really pretty, she's a really good actor. And then you look at her products that she sells through her woo-woo fantasy land, which they call Goop.
You know why it's Goop?
No.
Gwyneth Paltrow, GP, first last letters.
Mm. What?
Well, it's what
about the ooh-ooh?
And the ooh-ooh.
You've made that up.
No, well,
Goop is also stuff you put on your face.
Exactly. So it was convenient that the stuff that you put on your face had the first and last.
Anyway, if I can get back to you don't know that you've made that up about the GP thing, haven't you?
No, I haven't made it up. It's obvious. It's self-evident.
It's not. Anyway, because she's very attractive and apparently only eats apples and, I don't know, kale or something.
No, that was her son. She called her son Apple.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, she barely eats and just, I don't know, is constantly giving herself coffee enemas. I don't know what she does. But anyway, she's got this company called Goop, which is a terrible purveyor of pseudoscience, woo-woo, which, as we know, is dangerous because once you go down that path, you're less likely to believe the science. So she has a halo on her head. Pretty actress, develops a pseudoscientific product line which is sort of drowning in glitter and glamour, and people buy it for that. So
what has that got to do with real estate?
I'm explaining what the halo effect is.
Okay.
So if you look about that in a real estate sitch,
yes,
then a single appealing feature like an ocean view or a renovated bathroom or great light then colours your perception of the entire property, and you start ignoring flaws because that one feature, right, the halo of it, feels like the proof of overall quality. And so the impact of that is you can overlook structural features or noise or body corp problems or something. And I did it. I'm telling you, I did this.
You did it.
I did it with the property that we looked at above the shop. Remember that one above the shop?
The property above the shop.
Do you know what I got hooked on?
How big it was? 3 bedrooms?
I got more than the 3 bedrooms. I got tragically hooked on the fact that they'd put really nice white plantation shutters over the windows.
Oh, my God, yes.
And
this
I
was
like,
the scungiest,
nice.
brothel or something like that. It was above a shop with decaying awnings and...
It was really terrible.
I mean, the strip of shops underneath it, convenience store... fish and chips. There was a bong shop there.
It wasn't great. But the thing is, I walked in, I went, oh! And then the real estate agent said to me, look, it's really beautiful. Look at the kitchen.
Plantation shutters.
Plantation shutters. And then Lachlan had sensibly opened one of the plantation shutters, and behind it, the windows were all broken.
Yep. But the fact that the broken windows were concealed by a plantation shutter.
Yeah. And then he cleverly, that guy, used the anchoring bias.
Ah, the anchoring bias.
The anchoring bias is really, really interesting, because if they say, look, this is worth, I don't know, 530,000.
Yep.
Right? And then you find that, so you're anchored to that number, right? You get anchored to it.
Yep.
And then when they say, oh, actually you can get it for 510,000, you're like, awesome, saving of 20 grand, even though the 530 was an imaginary number.
It was arbitrary in the first place.
That's right.
Part of a clever real estate strategy.
Yeah. So, and of course they do that all the time, because what they're doing, they're using the anchoring bias, and the other thing that they do is the scarcity bias, which is, yeah. Look, we've had a lot of interest in this. There's very, very few properties that are in this sort of location with this sort of access to public transport, right, that have had this amount of quality renovation. This is a very, very, very rare property.
Yes.
So if you don't act now, what's going to happen?
Yeah, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out.
And scarcity is a classic, because it absolutely flips the switch from strategic reasoning to just being impulsive.
Yes.
Must be dreadful for people with ADHD like yourself.
Oh, it's shocking.
Is it shocking?
Yeah. I mean, I as I said, real estate. I can see all of these cognitive errors just working away.
Yeah.
They put their business clothes on. They look really legitimate, and then I can hear my mind saying to me, "Listen, we've got to put an offer on this place now. It's well above what we want to spend, but properties like this don't come onto the market. The vendor is obviously motivated to sell. We could get a real advantage if we just acted quickly.
Yeah.
If we backed ourselves. Do you know, I wonder whether this has had anything to do with the Commonwealth Bank's latest advertisement. The Commonwealth Bank is one of Australia's largest banks, and they've just gone into the public arena with this thing, doubt never did. That's the slogan, doubt never did. Don't doubt yourself. Go for it. Oh. Go for it. Buy the house. Buy the car.
Whoa.
Doubt never did.
And, of course, that absolutely plugs into one of my all-time...
Don't doubt yourself.
Absolutely loathed inferences, which is everyone should just trust their instincts, because your gut will lead you in the right direction.
That is so irresponsible of the Commonwealth Bank.
If I'd gone with my gut...
Yes? You would have bought that dreadful place above the bong shop.
Above the bong shop,
my God.
with the terrible plantation shutters. The other thing is we had to take the dogs with us.
Oh, my God.
On the journey, because we couldn't leave them in the apartment.
Oh, I bet I know where you're
going.
I know where you're going with this.
And then, I then have to text neighbours and can you take them out for a wee or whatever, da-da-da-da-da.
So we took the dogs,
We took the dogs, and then that real estate agent
was nice to the dogs?
Said those dogs... my God, they are the most beautiful dogs.
Oh, no.
And then complimented the car.
Oh, my God.
Look at your cute little blue electric car, and aren't your dogs adorable? And I was like, I really want to buy something off you.
Yes.
Like, as soon as I like someone, and I tell you the other thing they do is they use my name. What's your name?
Yeah.
Annie. And as soon as they say, Yeah, Annie, look, I love your dogs, love your car. Look, there's obviously things that need to be done to this property, Annie. But I don't know.
He knows me.
And also, you know what else?
He knows me.
You know
he
what else he
understands
said to me?
What did he say?
He said, "You must be so proud of your son for getting into the market." And me, I'm like, Jewish mother.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm really, so my son, help, my son, the lawyer is drowning. Yeah. So, and he said,
help, my son, the lawyer is trying to buy a house.
Yeah, help. And then, I'm like, yeah, I am really proud. And he was like, yeah, well, when I was 33, I was just married and still living at home with my parents. Your son's doing amazing. And I'm like, yeah, he is doing amazing. Also, you really like my car and my dogs and you think my son's amazing. I want to buy something off you. Yeah, and you use my name.
That's right. That sounds like halo effect to me. That sounds like really solid halo effect. But also I reckon that kind of relationship, when the real estate agent knows your name, appreciates your dog, admires your cars. You've come all this way.
From the northern beaches.
Then you're in danger of falling prey to the sunk cost fallacy. And that is, I've spent all this time, I've got to know this person. I don't want to have to go through the process of getting to know anybody else.
Yes.
I don't want to go through the process of having to look at another property. So you double down on the agent or the property that you've become attached to because of that
sunk cost is absolutely classic, isn't it? It's sunk cost. I love it because it's like, the other context where you're like, you've been holding on the phone to Telstra for what feels like 9 years, right? But you cannot hang up. You cannot hang up because otherwise you've wasted...
Yeah, you've wasted all that time.
All that time on the phone. Whereas in fact, if you just hung up and then called back at another time, that would be totally fine.
Yeah, that's right. And, I'm gonna just do a little dangerous thought experiment here.
Oh yeah.
If you think about our relationship, Annie, and all the years that we've been married.
Yeah, you could leave me.
Well, no, sunk cost fallacy.
We've spent this long.
I've spent this long.
You may as well stay the course.
That's right. It's got to get good sometime. The pendulum swings. It's got to come back someday.
Yeah, so at some point, yeah. So that's right. You've spent, it's been... Well, that is actually what happens to people people in disastrous relationships. It's exactly why people don't divorce.
Yes, but darling, I wouldn't describe our relationship as disastrous.
Thank you. There's redeeming qualities, features.
Yeah, there are some redeeming qualities and features, and I figure I'll be able to sort it out.
Can you fix me?
Yeah.
Well, do you reckon you can fix me?
Like I can fix a property with a lick of paint. Just put a lick of paint on that. Put some plantation shutters in, and the place will be magnificent to live in. That's the overconfidence bias.
Well, I think
I can make this work. I can make this property work.
Yeah, but we've missed the big the big mother of all biases.
What's that?
Which confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Once you've decided, that's the thing. Once you decided, I've walked in and it's got nice plantation shutters and 3 bedrooms and a nicely renovated bathroom and the guys used my name and complimented my son and my car and my dogs.
Yes.
Confirmation bias. I'm like, yeah, I want it. And you just unconsciously cherry pick any bit of data that doesn't fit my current desire.
What about the fact that it's a long way away from public transport?
It doesn't matter.
Really? What are you going to do?
It's not my problem. He's living there. It's not me. Yeah. It doesn't matter, you see. In my confirmation biased brain, once I've decided he should buy this, right?
But what about the fact that the bedrooms don't have any aspect out the window? Doesn't matter.
He can put pictures out there.
It's pretty small. How's he going to fit?
That's okay because he's a kid. He doesn't what does he need? He hasn't got children.
All of which sounds like practical, pragmatic, motherly advice.
Though.
It's not. It's confirmation bias.
It's all confirmation bias. And, of course, I make an emotional decision and then we just post-rationalise it.
It's fraught. It's absolutely fraught.
The process is fraught. And we're sort of aware of this stuff, but I forget as soon as I'm there.
Yeah.
My any notion of me applying my own critical thinking skills just goes out the window, pretty much. I then have to walk away, get in the car and start thinking. I really have to apply myself, David.
Yeah. Because there is that thing that happens when you leave the property and then you start fantasizing about yourself living in that in that unit, you know.
Or how nice it would be for Lockie to be in there, right?
Yeah, you know. So there he is, and he only has to go downstairs, and he can get
his teeth fixed.
He can get his
buy
teeth
a
fixed
bong.
at the dentist. He can buy a bong. He can, you know,
Go get a bottle of wine, even though he doesn't drink.
That's right.
He could start.
He can have
He could apply himself.
enriching cultural experiences with
Exactly.
the
Everyone was lovely.
with the other people wandering around in the street, and they actually call this the endowment bias. That you start to imagine yourself or your son or somebody, you know, living the perfect life in this place. And again, you do the work of the real estate agent for them. You know, you
Well, I
lean
think what
into-
happens is you plug into that endowment effect. So even before you've bought it, you can imagine living there,
Yeah.
which then tips your brain into loss aversion. So suddenly I've imagined Lockie living there, right? So losing it,
Yeah.
he'd love it, right?
That's right. Life in South Granville.
Life in
You know,
South Granville
why
above
would-
the bong shop.
Why would you want to give that up?
And then you get into loss aversion. So the weird thing about loss aversion, it's a very interesting cognitive bias, is that what it does to your brain, it starts to hate the idea of loss more intensely than it values equivalent gain. So you do anything then to avoid, you know, to because of your aversion to loss is so great. And remember, this is happening unconsciously in the brain, right?
Yeah, that's
so
right.
So suddenly I'm saying to my son, look, this is, you know, because I've decided he should have it because of the plantation shutters and et cetera, et cetera. And the
Yes.
guy used my name and like the car, like the dogs.
Yes.
So then what would happen is you'd start saying, look, you can stretch your budget. And all of the red flags then get rationalised and you take risks. That's how you get into this terrible state of taking risks you shouldn't take.
The optimism bias, where you say, you know, I'm going to get a whole lot more work this year, or interest rates are going to come down and I'll be able to afford the payments. Or,
Optimism bias is my greatest flaw. I mean, I've got a lot of flaws. I do. No, come on.
No.
Come on.
No, really?
Yeah, I know. It's a surprise to you after 30-something years.
Yeah, I know. No.
I've got to tell you, though, optimism bias,
Yes.
you know the way there's just all this, man, let's get some optimism and positivity happening. I'm telling you, I have made so many mistakes because I'm highly optimistic. It's in my personality.
Okay, so are you optimistic about the world, or you are optimistic about the way that you're going to be able to rise to the occasion?
I just assume things are going to work out.
I sometimes get the feeling that you're not terribly optimistic about me, though.
No, yes, I am.
Are you?
100%. I always think everything's going to be fine.
All right, okay. Oh, good.
I have a lot of wildly, perhaps misplaced levels of trust in your capacities.
Yeah, well, time will tell, won't it?
So, you know, if you think about optimism bias in relation to, you know, perhaps making a purchase, you know, because I know what there was. There was this notion that there was going to be
The special levies.
the special levies,
yes.
and it was like, they were like, it's not going to matter. There is
that's right.
special levies, and
Yeah.
there's capital works involved in this, but it's probably only going to cost you $30,000 over 10 years.
Yeah, just a little bit of waterproofing for the you know, the building.
Yeah, so then you go, oh, okay, 30,000 over 10 years
10
sounds
years,
fine.
yeah.
And so then you
30,000
expect the
a year.
future to bend to your hopes. Right, so you're hoping that they're right. Because I said to the guy, well, that won't be locked down, because I do manage when I'm actually in there with an estate
Yeah,
agent to actually ask
right.
questions. I said, well, we don't actually know that, do we? We don't know that it's going to be locked at 30, which is exactly what we know has happened to people. It started off at 30 and has ended up at 150,000 extra.
How old are your dogs? Aren't they lovely?
Yeah, that's fine. 30 sounds great. Okay. So then, of course, as we know, and you've already mentioned this, that real estate agents turn up, they've always got the same narrow lapelled suits on, haven't they?
Yes.
Stovepipe, sort of the stovepipe trousers, very, very shiny, expensive shoes.
Yeah, do you find
Their
yourself...
hair's all done.
Do you notice the real estate agent's shoes?
Always.
I always do.
I always do.
What is it? What is it about that?
They're very shiny.
They're so that's
It's like a rule.
Is that a heuristic? If the shoes are good, it's a successful real estate agent. If the shoes are shabby, maybe they're not.
Yeah, 100%. So, look, you've got agents, builders, doctors, you know, bankers, whatever. Mm-hmm. Anybody who looks confident feels more credible than they actually are. It's the authority bias.
Yeah, got it. The authority bias. Would you rather deal with a shabby real estate agent, who maybe isn't so slick, is not going to use so many clever, might be a bit down on his luck, might work harder for you? Or would you prefer to deal with a real estate agent with very shiny shoes, a very dry clean suit, clean hair, is on top of it, smooth talking, etc., etc.?
No, that's a pointless question.
Why?
Well, because you've inferred that just because somebody has turned up and is a bit sort of shabbier and has taken less time with their toilet,
like the Columbo of real estate agents,
then that infers credibility. It makes no difference. How would I know what they're like? Just what I'm going to suddenly go, oh, you're shabby. You're going to tell me the truth?
Oh, hang on. Are you speaking from the enlightened mind at the moment? I thought we were looking at heuristics.
Oh,
if you weren't applying critical thinking, do you think you'd be able to run rings around a shabby one? And yet the very professional looking one will probably do a job on you. What do you reckon? What would your expectation be?
Yeah, I would think that I'd be more inclined with the SMIC one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
you'd rather have the schmick one?
I don't understand the question. I don't know what mind. Am I applying critical thinking?
No, not at the moment. This is your unguarded self.
Unguarded self. I don't know. I can't tell.
All right. Then it probably was.
I just look at Lachlan.
Sorry about that.
I just look at Lachlan, who's our boy, who has a very interesting relationship to clothing.
Oh, he doesn't value the externals at all.
And yet he works in a very specific area of the law, and he's very, very good at it, very caring, very nice, very bright, very smart.
Yeah, he's got that lovely combination of being super smart, but he's also super conscientious.
Yeah, he is. He's
really
compassionate,
looks after
and
people.
he looks like his clients. So oh, he does.
Well, that's why they like him.
It's just interesting, right? Yeah. So I mean, the
real
thing
estate?
is, sorry,
in real estate.
I don't know. It was a really confusing question you asked me before. What would I rather?
Yeah.
Would I think I could run rings about someone in my unconscious self that was shabbier?
Yeah. Yeah, would you look at them and go, oh, this real estate agent's a bit down on his luck. I could probably push him harder.
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but it's a bias, right?
It is a bias.
Because the way someone presents is an absolute irrelevancy.
That's right.
To how much you can actually manipulate them to your, So, look, I think we've discussed the scarcity bias, and the urgency. Urgency bias is massive. You've got to do this now. You've got to get into the market. You've got to buy this today.
Yeah, actually, you want to put an offer in. You want to take the property out of the market before it goes to auction.
You've got to do that, because otherwise you're never going to get a property like this.
Yeah.
So look.
So how do you tell the difference between the two? How do we keep our thinking caps on when we're in the real estate game?
Well, what you have to do is watch for any emotionality that is creeping into your brain. So as soon as I get in the car, so I actually do this, and I go, oh, that would be really good. I then have to actually do some serious analysis of my thinking. You have to analyze your thinking. And I think the way to start is the first time you get a strong feeling about something. I really love this. Okay, take yourself away, go and sit in the park, go and sit in the car, do something. Why do you like it? Same with, I hate this property. A couple of times I just hated the property. Yet if I'd applied more critical thinking to it, maybe it was more redeemable because the location was better, even if the interior wasn't great.
Okay, so you're saying as soon as you recognise whether you are moving towards the property or away from the property, if I was just to put it really, really simply, you're moving towards it, that you slow it down and you go, okay, what am I moving towards?
Correct.
Am I moving towards access to public transport? Am I moving towards space? Am I moving towards community? Am I moving towards, and then ask, is this relevant? Is it realistic? Am I evaluating this correctly?
Well, to my brother's point,
what would your brother know about real estate?
He's right. My brother, who's been in real estate for about 900 years, He said yesterday, you can't change the location and you can't change the size, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reality. You can't change the quality of the building. Anything on the inside that's cosmetic, you can change it.
Yeah.
But if you're in a crap location, you're going to be in a crap location.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, don't get caught up in the new Smith kitchen and the Renault bathroom. If you pull the blind up and you're looking out at a brick wall when a view matters to you.
And if you're going, okay, so it's an extra $100,000 more, we could always tighten our belts and maybe I'll get that job. Then you go, I noticed that maybe it's the optimism bias. Or I'm post-rationalizing, or I'm using, confirmation
bias is just the biggest
me to do
one.
those things.
It's the biggest one. You just unconsciously cherry-pick the environment to arrive at the conclusion that your brain wants you to arrive at. It's an absolute killer.
I've got what I think is probably the smartest thing that you can do in this situation.
What is that, David?
You keep telling us that the problem with unconscious bias is that they're unconscious, that you don't notice that they're happening.
Correct.
So this is probably a good time to pick up the phone and call Uncle Paul, or call your mum, or call your brother. Or
call another person. That's
and
not going to be over emotionally involved in the situation.
And notice when you talk to them about the property, are you trying to convince them?
Yeah.
Or
do you just genuinely want feedback?
It's very colourful, it's a nice place to live, etc., etc. Are you trying to convince yourself, or are you just sharing information and genuinely looking for another perspective?
That is correct. That is very good. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this up because any second now, our apartment is going to test their emergency warning system. And I don't think that our listeners...
They don't need to hear that. So you're winding up, are you?
I am winding up.
Going once?
Going twice.
Going 3 times and
sold.
And we're done.
Thank you so much, listeners. I hope that was helpful. Remember, whenever you're purchasing anything, including a partner, choose wisely and keep your critical thinking hats on. See you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.